Foxy9, not really a rookie in his book, but still, I think has to prove himself globally. Those two guys were paramount in Gen.G, making it this far already. They need to be themselves on this map.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here for either team. You see those double smokes coming in for G2 Esports, so they're going to probably lock in that Omen, but you know Valorant's barking at the troops, letting them know what's really good before they start this matchup here. But yeah, I mean, my eyes immediately could get drawn to texture in that neon. And also, I'm curious to see, as we had mentioned previously, how those rookies are going to set up, because this is it. You lose this, your tournament is done, you're out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, I would be more looking at Munchkin and Valin. We heard a very good speech coming in from Valin. The pressure is on Gen.G. There's the ones that have been performing, and everything could be done in a matter of 2 days for them. Right now, with all the momentum that G2 had over that Lotus, where, let's be honest, they dominated Gen.G, they have all the ingredients to put this in 2-0 fashion. And also looking at them, again, starting from the defense, I expect to see more of the same that we saw in the first map. Jogamo, if they start snowballing, just getting in that operator early and having a lot of impact on the team.
Well, Gen.G is in a spot that we did not think possible. They're facing elimination. They have to force a map 3 Toronto. Let's get some energy as we send it over to your casters, Brent and Sideshow.
Exactly right, it's all on the line. Gen.G, they have their home territory of Haven, their own map pick, but are up against a G2 squad that are raring to go. Valin in rare form himself as well, getting morale up for the troops. They want to take this one, they want to take this one cleanly.
I love the fact that Valin said we want to change the narrative here today, because I do think the narrative has shifted massively. Coming into this tournament, G2 were the de facto #1 seed. If you asked anybody who the most sensible pick to win the tournament would be, it'd be G2. And yet, some of that confidence seems to have dissipated. Gen.G going for a fast play, paranoia onto Valin, taking a bit of damage there.
Yeah, just near-sighted for a little bit, stepping back into the nano swarm here. Front A control. A short, a long, Gen.G have it. Waiting for their time to strike.
Munchkin walking up, clearing Trent's position.
Oh my goodness!
Going for the right click.
Yeah.
That's devious.
And heads up as well, just to really be diligent clearing that angle.
That looks like anti to me, because Trent was holding that position a ton.
A lot.
Now, Jorg is containing them in spawn. So G2 can still keep 3 players on A and be very confident about this.
We'll see if it's Gen.G to get put into the blender through the smoke. In through short, double up with a crossfire. There's a lot that needs to be dealt with. Util flying forwards, and so are the bullets. Gen.G are not going to be denied this chance. Grabbing access to the A site, grabbing a plan indeed, and Jorgamo, despite the incredible form he's been in, this would have to be an absolute world-class miracle. He's brought it into 1v3, but they know his location. And Texture is even wrapping behind. Ashton Caron looking to double up here. A lot to clear if your Jorg flash overhead. It's going to signal that things are to come, and Jorgamo is going to be dropped. Pistol round win for Gen.G is a fantastic beginning. They needed this.
Yeah, I think it's a particularly good beginning because it showcases an awareness of how G2 have been playing this map, despite the fact that we've barely seen G2 play with this composition. This is a brand new comp that they've only brought out here for Toronto, and yet Gen.G already is super aware that they want to be fighting tight crossfires. They're not putting a lot of focus on kind of backside behind default positions. They knew that Trent was going to tuck up close, and then I think it was Jonah P did exactly the same, and both times Gen.G were aware. Already anticipating an eco round play, where G2 might be facing that mid-window. Slide across.
Yeah, triple face it early with Guardians and the rifle.
Yeah, and Gen.G actually doing a bit of disrespect here too. Munchkin and Foxy9 only bringing pistols into this round, which, against a team that can force quite a lot.
I was about to mention it, that deep A lobby control. G2 are walking all the way up, but it was watched for.
Yeah, I mean, Munchkin's just spamming into the smoke, isn't he?
Yeah. Jonah P handed the perfect line, but a double face in the end. There's too much to overcome, so Gen.G now turn up the pace a little bit. Starting to get a bit of a move on. Leaf looking for a timing of his own. Rooted into the back of the site, trying to take a timing past his Util. He's just spotted the bodies out. Foxy9 will be the savior. And this should just be closed shut case for Gen.G.
See who wants to build up their ultimate. I mean, prioritizing Foxy9 potentially here would be a good idea. He's already got the pistol in hand as well, so he could go and chase this, see if he can grab another one. Gen.G with a very clean start to this map, and that's exactly what they needed. They just went down so early, almost without a fight at the start of Lotus. But we saw them start to get back into the game, and they do feel like they are at least shooting back, sharp.
Shadows traveling.
Not willing to go out of the tournament in easy fashion. Nobody chasing as well, looking for this kill onto Valen. So an ult orb denied. But Gen.G, they keep the 3 rifles that they bought into this round, and they're going to be able to buy up 2 more, so, or at least 1 more. So this is going to be a pretty dangerous bonus round here that you've got to imagine the Gen.G coaches have got a specific game plan for.
Hefty purchase for them.
Gen.G love doing kind of fake pressure. Take Garage early on and allow Munchkin to be the playmaker. His lurks through A are diabolically good.
It's going to be another face in mid. Jorgo's going to be at least meeting them, 2 of them facing, and are they going to be expecting this? I didn't see it in the last round. Here it is, glide to the side, taking that fight out. Why? Jorgo only the 1.
He does well to get 1.
Which is crazy enough when you're facing that many players.
And here's that A lurk.
Munchkin disrespecting, taking liberties. It's a core part of the way that Gen.G plays, making sure that Munchkin can get those lurks off.
He's found this timing, hasn't he? Trent is jiggle peeking the angle, thinking that he's got information. If anybody was to cross short, he doesn't realize that Munchkin's already here.
Yeah, now the IGL calling for the team to get into position. The Prowler's good. Connection there. Trent with the jump spot. Gets the info he was looking for. Now there's 3 players of G2 here. They could put up a stand, but instead grouping up for the re-clearance.
G2 with a nice read. Recognizing the Munchkin's over here, and it's been quiet on the rest of the map, but they're playing B and C for full retake.
Prowler didn't connect. Leaf has been inserted though. Deeper position indeed. That's a critical one. You've cleared up A short now. A lot of the bite out of this A hit is going to be removed, and Snakebite just forcing the issue. Texture could have gone backwards, but instead chose to take the fight.
Just felt forced. His hand there. Gen.G got to be starting to realize that G2 have been stacking A really heavily and very quickly in these rounds.
30 seconds left.
Despite the fact that Gen.G came away with the win on the pistol, everybody from G2 was there.
28 seconds, roughly. It's ticking down now at this point, 20 to work with.
Revealing area.
B's the side that they're going to be looking towards. Still, it's a 2v4. That means risky business here for Gen.G. They're going to have to put the guns and bodies on the line, I think, to try and stand a chance for this one. The horns barely broken. Ash is going to be connected, rooted down into the spot, but no one's watching! Oh my! 2 dropped in the blink of an eye, but still all managed in the end by G2.
Got dangerous there for a moment, though, didn't it? An opportunity for Gen.G to win. G2 maintaining composure and dealing with that final player. Only 2 rifles survived that, though. It's a cool idea that we're seeing. But I do think Munchkin's a smart enough player to realize that G2 are putting massive focus on this A stack and A defense. They're not playing A for retake in any of these rounds.
And a heavy premium on re-clearing A short.
Yeah, so I would imagine you do a little bit of A pressure, and Munchkin's going to be smart enough to realize that's opening up B and C massively. This time, though, looking like they want to pressure Garage early on.
A new beginning. Viper Wall is just one more element to really try and get past here. Deep Horns alongside the Flash.
We've seen G2 go for this play before. Put up the Viper Wall, Flash Haunt through it. See if you can catch people as they're about to enter Garage. But Gen.G had a passive start to this round.
Yeah, patient.
Very cautious.
Perhaps anticipating it, actually. If they've done their research and their homework.
Yeah, super possible. And Ash still has this drone, which is a great tool for setting up texture for this opening kill.
Valen. They'll look to try and put a stop to this one. A lot of pressure into Garage. Wall still up and Jorgamo walkabouts once more. So many players waiting on the other side. And the timing just not, Core Force opposed, just not ready for it. Jonapi was in control of the wall in that spot, and that means the go button called for. Gen.G are forwards. Trent not accounted for. Still, onto the high ground. Caron sets himself up and sets his team up nicely, but the Snakebite is going to be putting a pause to the plans. Gen.G have got to get a few more bodies in here because G2 have them surrounded. Still that high ground angle. Caron getting amazing value, but here's G2. From all sides of things, they come out swinging. Foxy 9 in a 1v2. Damage done to Jonah P. bullet to the chest will do him in. The spike is retrievable, but only 14 seconds to work with the time pressure. He's going to have to commit to the B plant. Jonah P isolated, but the timing gets the worst of it. Jonah P gives him a bullet to the temple.
I really like the way that G2 have changed around their compositions. We didn't talk about it too much, but on Lotus, it was a massive change of comp that I think led to that dominant first half. And here, though it's not specifically against Gen.G that they've altered this composition, it has changed the way they've played a lot. I mean, they're no longer playing, they're playing a flood, just a ton more. The snakebite there to put pressure onto the plant, and then they're through, they're in, trading out. Valen swings, Jonah P comes back in behind him, grabs 2. G2 are applying a lot of pressure onto Gen.G as they're trying to get the spike down.
Spam offered up on either way. Trent gets the better of it. Gen.G going to be grouping up now. This is the weaker buy for them.
And after a pretty good start to this map, this is where perhaps mental fragility is going to be a talking point. G2 trying to defend garage control. They do have thorns, they have flash, they have tons of different tools here for Leaf to stay in control of garage, or at least re-clear if they lose it.
And now just the flash. Popped off, doesn't get the acknowledgement that there's players in there. Gen.G take that timing. Slipping in, Leaf has to be cautious if he wants to try and take this fight here and now. In that deep C position, Jorgamo cemented. That's going to be pivotal when his hits start to come through. Leaf is just raring to go, man. He's just spamming through the smoke, trying to take that timing past him. And he's still not to be dissuaded. Sticks around and plays his life. Jorgamo now going to be taking a peek of his own. Fights to be taken on every single angle. Crunching Gen.G in their space.
Gen.G are getting dismantled here. The light weaponry isn't even the problem necessarily in this round. But Gen.G just got funneled into garage. Leaf was happy to give it up. Trent actually, after getting this kill, he re-cleared A long with a horn, got full info down there, and Jorgmo's got full info down C long. So they know that all 5 players are coming to garage. I mean, maybe there could be like one B lurk, but apart from that, they know 100% where everyone is. The macro game is getting dominated right now by G2.
It's how you have to play against a team like Gen.G. When they do play so lurk heavy with a Viper comp as well. Munchkin loves to take those timings. So you're seeing the game plan. G2, all the emphasis being placed on re-clearing, information gathering, deep positions that they can place players into to make the calling that much easier. Looking towards garage. Shock dart, there were no thorns there to receive this.
If you've done your homework and you know that Leaf has this flash here, I mean, they've literally heard it. So you know that there's a period of time now where they're not going to be able to flash to re-clear information in garage. So if you can go and take it, G2 have got to be worried about it. So now the smoke comes up. Now G2 have got to be a little bit concerned. And this really is where Munchkin could try to activate on his A-lurk. He's just dodged a Prowler.
There's pressure on his shoulders. 3-2. It's a narrow margin in terms of the way that G2 are winning, but they're up a map. Haunt breaks it. He's going to reveal it. Inserted himself there into A long, and Munchkin's gone. Jorgamo.
They've got such great game plans for dealing with this. They know exactly how Gen.G are playing.
And they're just drawing the blood out of these Gen.G bodies. One step at a time. No fancy re-clearing protocols, just really just offering themselves up to try and take it. And now Gen.G, less than 30 seconds left.
And they look a little lost.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the game plan here? It's just probably going to end up being a save. They don't even look like they want to go for it. They are losing massively in terms of the macro game here.
10 seconds left.
They've put so much emphasis for months now, actually, with different variations of these compositions, on Munchkin being able to crack open A on his own.
God.
And G2 are hyper aware of it. They know that Munchkin has to take timings based on Trent's utility. He can't walk into a Prowler or a Horn, so he has to be trying to take the timings between those pieces of util. And then they're so ready for it. Yeah. Jorgamo pushing up short, catching him on the backstab as he has to retreat after the Haunt is thrown. And really, Gen.G's game plan there was to go and try to put pressure garage and force G2 to re-clear it. And then, all right, you know that there's 2-3 people from G2 re-clearing Garage. They didn't even bother.
No.
They were just happy to give it up because they knew exactly what was happening. They knew it was fake. Brutal how much currently Valen is inside Munchkin's head. And the Gen.G coach is forced to take this tactical timeout to address the massive gap at the moment that's burgeoning.
It's a 2-round lead for now, but you've got to get that fire back, that passion in your bellies to know that you're capable of going a distance and going far, even against a team like G2. You need game plans to do it for now. Getting outplayed, as we've already mentioned.
And you might think, all right, well, what about if you just do something fast? What about a fast C pop or a B pop? The problem is you might run into the Vice wall.
Yeah.
You don't know where it is. There's 3 good spots for the Vice wall. If it's going to be either at C main, it's going to be in the middle of Garage, or it's going to be at the front of B. And you can't afford to run into it. Because if you do, that's probably a fast round just getting melted. And then if you try to go quick over towards A, well, that's where G2 are playing usually 3 bodies. And you're running into kind of potentially a snake bite or a seize or, you know, something that's going to lock you in the choke. So it's really tough to increase the tempo.
It's going to get even harder. Jonah P. That's a pit earned up, lays this one down over towards C.
And you can see in this round that that Vice wall is in Garage. So a flash, trying to keep Gen.G honest.
Deeper position.
They are going to walk up, though, and at least be able to bait the wall out this time.
Drone is here. They finally spot it. The wall's just trying to get baited out. A bit of jump spotting for it. Thorns are deaded.
So now you could back up and go into a B exec because you know the Vice wall isn't there. There is a little bit of freedom now for Gen.G, but C is tough with Jonah P's ult.
Still, Jonah P's now worried about his back because they've put that pressure into Garage and removed the util, and Gen.G looking in a different direction.
Recon back in 2.
Yep, grouping up now for the pop. We're going to see it happen. Texture is going to be the tip of the spear. No players anchoring on site for G2. All up and over. Stun through main.
Last time G2 flooded. They didn't play a set retake. They were ready to fight. This time, though, they don't really have players in position.
Breaking a bit of the util. There's ults to be used for G2 if they want to try and play this one. The retake, and here's the first one. Dimensional Drift. Jorgamo is going to be getting information. Spots it out into the smoke, trying to body block Texture. It's going to be cladded there, at least with the Nightfall. It's going to be scattering forwards. Caron. What the hell has he got there? Texture eliminating. Trying to eviscerate a bit more, yet he's put down entirely.
Sova ult.
Leaf sticking. Sova on his get value. Is half onto the defuse already, and Trent is taken out. Munchkin delivering a death blow. 2 for it. Leaf has earned himself win cons potentially, but time is ticking in a 1v3. Good luck to you.
This is
up onto the edge. Doesn't stick it. He's looking for the fight, and Munchkin will give him it.
A good round there coming out of the tactical timeout for Gen.G. They were forced to call an audible after they ran into the Vice wall in Garage. I don't think that would have been the initial game plan that the coaches called, but a nice adaptation from Munchkin. And Caron here, I think he was just ulting to try to escape away from that dimensional drift. It was a Yoru ult paranoia play that G2 were trying to cook up on the retake, and he ends up kind of evacuating and catching somebody. That's a big one, an important one for Gen.G. But now Jorgamo with an operator, and he was doing nasty, nasty stuff on Lotus.
Yeah, phenomenal work. Has to take the timing a bit more passive though, because Texture lays down it, but it's just a half clearance. In for a short, deals with him. Shorty in the back pocket.
And then set up by Fade Utility to re-clear and get onto an angle.
Posted back up, trying to take that swing. That's Valen going down though. This should be the C side cracked open.
Enormous impact kill from Foxy9 on the entry. And they have Munchkin's ult to be able to work with.
Viper's Pit even being committed. Thorns to tangle them up. Leaf wants to try and take this fight forwards! When it just reduced down to the side arms. Even expecting where Caron could be, Leaf is just absolutely monstrous. Munchkin still alive. Pit will remain, but for how much longer? Not at all!
You thought that Foxy9 had created the opening for Gen.G. He gets in, barrels over Valen, a pit down on the side. And yet Leaf, constant thorn in the side, rips away all of the weaponry and charges through like a bull in a china shop. They are trying to rewrite the narrative today and get back to when people were putting not just respect but fear on the G2 name.
Yeah, a team that you do not want to run into at any stage of the tournament.
Karen's come into this round with just a ghost. They're half buying, even though 4 of them have weapons. That's weird.
It is weird. They have money still. It's an odd situation to be in. Could buy for the next round, potentially. But they're just struggling to deal with the setup defensively. Munchkin, though, that's a critical kill.
What a shot.
The drone even spotting it off into the corner. Leaf will have to get the hell out of there. Munchkin walking around. Even Trent himself just... No, Util used to clear that one. This is a game of timings that Munchkin has one out, finally.
The spike drop, though. The spike dropped in window.
What is occurring there?
Ash in a really exposed position, and that's going to slow everything down, but I don't think G2 are going to have the timing to be able to get back into A before the plant comes down. No. Problem is, Leaf's just really far back.
4v3. Just walking straight into it. That operator has exchanged hands, and this time, G2 feeling the ire of it. Texture, it's no slouch.
He almost missed the timing, but hits the quick scope.
The P's in, though. Past this one. A lot of angles to account for, though. He needs some backing from Leaf, and they go for the 3-2-1 swing. Good movement from Karen. Almost went wrong for them. But he offset the aim of Jonah P. Leaf's just going to tuck himself in. We've seen him win a clutch from this spot before, but it very much different circumstances against Gen.G situation with the spike ticking in the way that it is. Yeah, he has to give this one up finally. Gen.G going to be happy with this one, and finally the IGL of Munchkin getting value on his lurks.
Yeah, mostly just set up because he hit a blinder of a shot onto Jorgamo, and to be fair, Jorg does miss, even though that's the exact fight that Jorg was looking for. So, you know, crosshair placement's not perfect. He's on a bit of an open spot here. But he misses one operator shot, and that's the only opening that Munchkin needs. Trent hoping that Munchkin wasn't taking the fastest timing in the world. And Josh RT, by the look of it, expects perfection, because despite the fact that Gen.G still look like they're struggling to get into this game, G2 have taken attack time out here. Yeah. Already looking to make changes and mix things up with 3 rounds left to play in this half.
You can feel how important those last remaining rounds really are. Gen.G just trailing ever so slightly, but respect on their name. They can catch up, they can put up the numbers, and they can put you all the way down to that 3rd map. That's what they're hoping for here, and that's why, as you said, Josh RT calling that timeout, hitting the button.
And I think one of the things he might be mentioning here is that Munchkin is conditioned to play quite slowly on the lurk. Now, I did just say that he took a fast timing, but that was after he'd already killed Jorg. Yeah. Right? At the beginning of the rounds, he's going to be playing fairly passively in A lobby because he's respecting the fact that Jorg could be there with a shorty, Trent could be throwing prowlers and stuff like that. So G2 might not have to worry so much about A at the very beginning of the rounds, and they're actually swapping Leaf over to defend that. So it will be a more passive setup on the A site. Josh calling a pretty big pivot, and there is potential for that same Flash Haunt kind of set play, because Gen.G taking a bit of garage control early.
Yeah, just trying to force out where the util was. And we know that Leaf has set up shop in a different place.
Already, though, that Prowler is going to tell them that something's different.
Yeah.
If Trent is over on garage, where is the Vice? And also, who's defending A? These are the kind of questions that Munchkin's going to be thinking.
Karen's position holding anti-flash just in case G2 go for that fast play. The Haunt and the Flash, of course, the Haunt used prior. Seizes the drone, is going to be clearing most of the way. That's a tag through the smoke. Got to respect that. Trent's got to back away. Could get wallbanged.
Yeah, that's pretty big. I'm wondering if they're going to lead with Foxy9's ultimate, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're going to pop.
If they're going to be, they're going to be troubled. I think Jorgamo is tucked close to the corner. Nice and tight. Great trade by Ash.
They still have
the opening in the entry.
They still have Foxy9's ult.
You should run.
There it is. Lockdown going to be used. After the fact here, G2. Do you take this one fast or do you wait this one out?
You got to wait it out. You got to respect it.
On the clock. Yeah, Leaf's taking pot shots, hoping that he can potentially get a kill or two.
Oh, Valen using his ult to dodge it. Is he going to cancel that one? Oh, he got detained.
Detained. Maybe
that's
missed the timing on it.
Yeah, he missed the timing on that one quite badly.
And through the back though, they knew that position was accounted for, so Karon's going to be taken out. Still a 3v3 G2. Making a move on now. Time's ticking. So is the Spike TP up towards our top, trying to offset this one. Great movement. Foxy9 still alive, playing his life. Dart towards the side. Ash tries to avoid capture. It's a gun that needs to be picked up, but they realizes it now. Trent, not enough time to work with it. Gen.G, they bring it level.
Great recovery in this half from Gen.G. Looked like they were down and out at one point after they got a good start on the pistol. But a couple of these rounds, the set plays, garage control into the B exec has been working. That's been the thing that's been getting them the most of these rounds. And it allows them to play these off-site post plants that are pretty drilled. Munchkin sat all the way back. Player in Cubby. Ash deserves credit in that round as well for hitting some really important shots, including the trade onto Jorg. And G2, their economy is finally shot.
Gen.G roaring in those replays. You can see how much this meant for them. Jorgamo. Walkabouts through mid. Well, I'm not going to be broken. It's going to be signaling that there is that deep push going. And what's the reaction from Gen.G? They want to go fast. They're going to be contending with all that Vice util. Well, not anymore. Leaf's gone. All going to be quite useless onto the side here. Another timing to be taken by Jorgamo. He's inside the smoke, and he might be inside their heads. Going for it, trying to reset that one. It's a flood attempt, G2. Already in through the back and clearing out the site.
Spike down A.
They're just ridiculous on these eco rounds. Jorg pulled all of the pressure towards him, and Foxy9's got it all to do.
That rifle still snaps towards it, has the angles, finds the kills. Into the 1v1, Jonah P doesn't know where he is. Tap, trying to bring him out into the open. But the timing miss once more.
So snappy from Foxy9, he almost managed it. But G2 close things out in their 3v1 and win the Mastercard Thrifty. They're just... The play from Jorg is absolutely perfect, just to pull eyes. Look at that, that's a free kill for Valen as he runs back in onto Munchkin, who's spamming back into the smoke. The flood is perfectly timed off that anchor pressure from Jorg. And he's got his head in his hands. He knows he should have been able to win that one. Could have been Gen.G taking the lead back.
A lot of spam, a lot of pressure. Gen.G trying to clear. Bit of garage control. The setup has adjusted once more for G2, but it's the final round, this first half.
And broadly speaking, I mean, Gen.G have been getting their success from garage pressure into B pops. So I'm wondering whether G2 are actually ready for that. I mean, the Vice wall has changed. We now have a Vice wall over towards the front of B. And Gen.G haven't really been threatening front B and trying to bait that out. It's a tough one, because you need to be smoking both sides before you bait it.
Down to the minute mark. Drone re-clearance. If they're tracking the money, they're going to know that Jorgamo has that operator available if he chooses
Bring them down.
to invest into it, which he has. He's got control of C long. Trent gets acknowledgement from the Prowler.
10 seconds until a haunt as well.
Pressure in through garage. That's a kill onto Leaf, and that might just change the game plan entirely. They were looking to go in a different direction. Jorgamo
What a shot.
gives them second thoughts.
30 seconds left.
Pins Munchkin to the wall with that one. They still want to go forwards, and now moving into Peters. 25 seconds left into this round.
But no Vice wall.
Moving forwards now. The stun onto the left side. Holding your ground down, Jonah P! Wrangles controlling the rifle. And the dreams and hopes of Gen.G are scattered to the wind here.
10 seconds left.
Playing with them.
Jorg finishes it off, and a beautiful opener, but the 3 kills in the middle from the hometown hero, who's at the top of the scoreboard for G2. And Valen has inspired this team to feel like they are accessing that underdog mentality again. It's a slim lead at the half for G2, but the game plans have all been working well.
One enemy remaining. 10 seconds left.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
we are, Gen.G are the ones staring down the barrel of defeat. And all the pressure on the shoulders of Munchkin as an IGL to try and come up with the goods, a pistol round idea, a strategy to make it potentially even, to just hold on, I think, to their hopes of making a difference. The Coinbase econ report, you can see the numbers relatively even as things go, but this is a game that is tenuous here. G2 are in the driving seat. Gen.G, the ones that need to put up or shut up and go home.
They were the team that said they would win 2-0 today. I mean, some of that's bluff and bluster, obviously. I mean, they're down to talk some smack, but also that was what happened the last time these two teams faced. Despite the fact that G2, maybe you could have argued, were favored at Shanghai. Here, I think a pretty even game, and yet it's Gen.G potentially on the chopping block. And the fashion in which they lost in the upper bracket, legendary.
Yeah.
Up 9-3 on the first map, up 8-4 at the half on the second map. And I wonder if that's done something to rattle them a little bit. Because we haven't seen the same passion, maybe a bit of whimsy from Gen.G.
No.
It's looked tense, it's looked difficult for them.
Yeah, not the same smiles.
And they've never really gotten into a flow. Every half, even this one, that was fairly competitive, was stop and start.
Well, it needs to be a better beginning, Gen.G. They've been almost a statistical anomaly with the amount of pistol rounds they've been winning overall. They'd love to keep that one going here.
They got the first on Haven, and they're walking down mid now.
They're going to meet it. It's a clash of the players, and the bloodbath is called for here with a paranoid sweeping forwards. Trent snaps forwards and Munchkin! The bullets the entire clip emptied out, and damage done. Finally a kill claimed. It's 3 for him.
But look at Jonah P. Again, he's managed to work his way through.
There's
no way he's expected.
And the damage done. His players are weakened. Caron snaps 180. Keeps the hopes up and keeps the dream alive of a pistol round. Win the timing. Trent out of the smoke, and it's a guessing game for where this last player could be here. Looking for it, and he's just missed it. Ash and Caron combine their might towards the end here. A pistol round win. Another one added into the tally, and they want to keep this momentum forward now. They want to keep it going.
Massively important pistol here for Gen.G. And the question is, do G2 force? They didn't get a spike plant. They got quite a lot of kills. These are the kind of spots where normally we aren't seeing G2 start to force here at Masters Toronto. That 3K from Munchkin is everything, just when we were talking about how he needs to be playing an immaculate game. Now, you guys didn't see it at home, but G2 were thinking about forcing. Some of them bought Stingers, then sold them again. And the end result is it's only Jorg with one in his hand.
A mistake or not too sure.
I don't think it is either. I think he did it very late. I think that was part of the game plan.
Wall in your face makes this a difficult angle, yet okay, you can take the pot shots. Shooting fish in a barrel. There's only a few angles they can be playing from. Caron is rewarded. The drone's going to be spotting a lot of bodies there. Moving forwards, taking that A space.
G2 themselves are going to be trying to make great use out of the Viper wall, applying pressure to the A defense. Gen.G are super happy to be playing these Viper v Viper situations, so I think when Gen.G are on the defense side.
Util overhead. You're going to hear this one with the TP forwards, and they're taking a peek. It's a fake and a bait, yet still Texture has that composure. Shuts down 2 of the players. Waiting for it. Leaf is answered. Drop dead in his sights. Caron has got a full lock now onto the side, and Ash gets the follow-up here. Flawless for them. Everybody surviving.
Yeah,
the roar from the Gen.G players. You can hear it from here.
Yeah, massive amounts of weaponry saved. Even, I think, 3 people not even having to rebuy the armor. So, an exceptionally clean round. G2, remember that one of the players, Jorgamo, did actually force into this. So they're going to be coming into the next round, an anti-bonus with 2 Stingers and 3 rifles.
It's a weird one.
It's a very strange one for G2.
Gen.G starting to smile a little bit more, getting the whimsy back. Handshake with the util.
And once more, as soon as Texture's able to get an op online, the things he's been doing with Neon op is unbelievable.
It's disgusting.
His movement's spectacular.
One of the most active players we've got.
So G2 need to be putting up these rounds early before Texture gets that weapon.
Munchkin a lot of trust in his aim here. He's crouched out into the open. He could be overwhelmed at a moment's notice. He's got no backup. Here's the smoke zone. He gives him the timing, layers down that snake bite. Use pound for pound, slightest of angles, and he will need to respect that now. Bullets flying forwards, breaking a portion of it. High ground, Caron.
Good awareness from Leaf.
And he's knocked. Forwards though, won't need to be broken. Kills. Potential for it with the Bulldog though, it's not the weapon of choice. The still a blood attempt is called for. Gen.G trying to get themselves in there with bodies. And more Ash! Second guesses it, finally catches onto it.
Trent.
Spike planted.
Latches to the corner, what a shot tap from Ash!
Going drone.
He's brought them a win con, he's brought them a chance here. And it brought them into the 2v2, the drone just spotting it. Tight to the corner, Leaf will have to reposition. Close together now, Texture, Ash move together as a unit, as one. Ash cannot do it all.
I'll have what I owe.
Leaf collects and G2 go up, but it cost them a lot. That's a pretty successful bonus round from Gen.G. Think about the fact that they brought only 2 stingers into that round, G2. I mean, 2 stingers and 3 rifles, of course. They're going to have a pretty similar buy again. Some wonky moments in this round. Great shock dart, though, onto Trent, who was extremely weak.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
This is the round where if Gen.G can win it, they might be able to think about getting the operator back up. And of course, G2's economy would be shot.
Yeah, the money's still not corrected properly here for G2.
And this is all before you even get the ults online.
Dart's going to be avoided. Texture is still deep tucked onto A long.
And they're not really worried about short because Foxy9's popped his alarm bot down there.
Prowler missed. G2 are grouping up though. Texture. This is time in the sun there, but shut down.
There.
Jogamo removes him. Alarm bot broken, and now with the util sailing up and overhead, it's all going to be on Foxy9. Feels like a hit, and it will be a hit. Foxy9, how the hell do you overcome all of this one here? Still TP forwards, no trade there eventually. Gonna be, it's labored in the process, but a horns in the beak. It's picture perfect from Trent.
That's an amazing play from Trent on his own. G2 have managed to get themselves in onto the site. I don't see a way back in for Gen.G.
2v4 Ash is alone doing this. Munchkin, other end of the map. Just gonna make a go. Anticipating.
What a freebie.
In the trade. Yeah, it is a free kill. There was no trade or swing from G2. Ash was almost ready for it, but this is just going to be...
I mean, Munchkin has no interest in even taking part in this.
He wasn't playing it at all.
No, he's just playing for the economy here. This was a really pivotal round. If Gen.G had been able to win it, you're expecting that they start to get the economy really snowballing. And Texture could have got that up. Now, though, with G2 coming away with a victory, they stabilize the attacking economy. No more stingers for them. And Gen.G, it's the Korean team that's going to be going towards the bargain buy.
Here.
Very back and forth.
Still missed.
2-round lead. Steady for G2. The emphasis still placed on Gen.G, I think, to come up with a response to stay alive in this tournament. It's elimination. And a loss here means a 5th-6th exit out of the tournament. Not what they were hoping for. Not what they were wishing when everybody was singing their praises earlier on in the tournament.
I mean, they looked utterly dominant early on. And part of the reason was Texture. He's only got a Sheriff now, looking to try to defend C.
Bit of posturing from G2. They don't see too many signs of life, but walking up here. God, and that's just a Sheriff diff.
God, what a shot. No, they both had rifles there.
Yeah.
That was a
rifle.
A 140
with a Phantom.
With aim punch, and Jorgamo somehow managed to land the headshot still. On a crazy off angle too. I mean,
Ridiculous adjustment.
Munchkin is really favored there. It's a weird angle.
Cover going out.
Rifle reclaimed at least.
Could be a blessing in disguise as well, yeah, because Texture actually gets the rifle into his hands, and if anybody's going to carry them through this defense half, it's Texture who's been one of the front runners at this tournament for MVP, but crashing out in 5th or 6th. Didn't look like it was on the cards for Gen.G. They're only 4 rounds away from that being a reality, though. Texture has got to rewrite history.
And all the pressure falling onto his shoulders here. Dodge of the flash, Nightfall though. He's going to have everything cut away. Gotta rely on the raw aim. Gotta rely on the mechanics. It's just the one. Foxy9 inserted, sees them, but just misses it with a crosshair placement. G2 are overwhelming. It's an onslaught that they deliver onto the site. With the money in the state that it is, Ash can't even attempt it.
Texture getting one. I think Foxy9 should be doing slightly better from that position, but he really did only have the Sheriff. G2 going up to a comfortable lead here. And it's Gen.G's economy that, again, is going to be on the rocks. And more importantly, perhaps than even that, the ultimates are going to start to snowball.
Yeah.
Jorgamo, he can play for an ult orb in the next round, and then you've got one of the best attacking ults to try to take space, take information, increase tempo. Gen.G are going to find it hard-pressed to deal with that, especially if it's used over towards C, like through Garage, for example. Scout out what the Garage defense looks like, find out where the C player is, hit them with a paranoia. These kind of combos are just so powerful.
It's heartbreaking right now for Gen.G. These rounds are just, it feels like they're just bleeding out slowly over time.
That's
Plays like this, kills like this. I mean, it's an insane adjustment by Jorgamo.
It's a special shot, and the crouch is excellent too.
30 seconds left.
Texture is going to get his op online here, Brent.
One enemy remaining.
And he's going to look for a peek in this next round down towards short. That's exactly where all 5 players of G2 are.
Time to get active. You're losing the map and you're losing the series and you're losing your lifeline in this tournament. Gen.G. Got to put up a response here and now. G2 not shy, making all the noise in the world over towards A.
How is Texture actually getting an opportunity here? He got blocked off by the Thorns from the Vice.
Knocked off. And he's hard committed now onto the one angle. Jorgamo cleared out. Thrown there. We'll respect it.
So this might allow Texture, if he's bold, to get back up onto the A-long angle. You don't know that it's clear, so he's tentative here. But once he gets posted, it's good information for Gen.G.
He's easing up. We'll have to worry about the Viper wall if it gets pushed up into his face. G2 we're going exploring now elsewhere. Through mid. Thorns into Garage. Feels like many things here, but the pressure's now on Munchkin once more. Smoke, it's a weird one.
I mean, it's to smoke off the alarm bot and threaten a B-lurk, but Munchkin looks at it and he's like, well, that's a fake, 100% of the time.
And back into Texture.
Here.
He's been in the MVP running and he's got to show it here. And now the shot just misses. Glides straight past. Valen's very lucky.
30 seconds left.
Result of it.
They're leaving, they're going back towards Garage.
Straight into it. Foxy9 now. His turn to be the playmaker, but he's going to be hearing potentially some signs of life. Calling for a TP all the way through. Valen's clearing close. Foxy9, he's missed the timing. He's trying to get close up forwards into them. He's catch it. Bounced down by the ankle. Trace it out anyway to flood in. Gen.G trying to get a move on. Being shut down entirely.
Spike down.
Door slammed in their face, but there's no time left. And they're going to collect these kills. Is there time to plant? Not quite. Gen.G got it.
That's absurd. Ashy wins the round, and Jonah even committed the ult.
Oh my goodness.
That's mad. I mean, we've got to see a replay of that, but I think that was literally milliseconds. I had no idea whether or not they were getting that plant down in time.
Holding my breath on that one. What was the timing on it? And like you said as well, Jonah P committing the pit.
They thought they had it. A Red Bull clutch, technically. Yeah, I mean, a sliver.
Barely missed. Big loss here for G2, but a massive win for Gen.G. Only trailing by 2. Dimensional Drift committed, along with the TP. Spotting out Munchkin here. Things happening. Trying to follow up forwards here. This is Foxy9 playing once more inside that smoke, but he's vulnerable. Nana Swarm, there's a judge in his hands, and he still gets the better of it. Picks up the gun, and evacuation called for G2.
The whole game plan there was just to try to spam off Jorgamo's information. Munchkin, he took a ton of damage, but now they're going back into Charon.
Charon, hard committed. Repositions, Paranoia with a jump spot. Not to be outdone.
Feels rushed at this point from G2, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit tilted, perhaps.
Gen.G making him work for every inch of space. Charon! He's monstrous right now. Doesn't want to be removed. He's a line of defense for this team, and as much as you want to bait those shots out, you're not getting squat.
The tiniest of margins, milliseconds on the clock in that prior round. Feels like it could have changed the game here. G2 went for something a little quick, didn't get the value out of Jorgamo's ultimate, and then a scrambling. And it does look a little bit sloppy. Like I said, maybe a little bit tilted. Josh RT's going to take a tactical timeout here. Gen.G looking like they believe again.
There's that passion. And G2 forced to take a timeout on the other side of it. As we've been mentioning,
The economy's
round
not
18,
good.
just the state of how that round ended, expending an ult. It's a tilter, you got to get your head back into the game. Now these are tenured players at this point for G2. We're used to thinking of them as like this Ascension team, quite young up there, but they have been around the block at this point. They've been to many a global show, many a global event. They have the experience to be able to weather any kind of storm, especially situations like this, but you could say the same for Gen.G.
Yeah, the mental fortitude, I think, really coming through for Gen.G. Josh scanning the notes. There's ult plays that they could potentially be looking towards, but it's only the Vice ult that they have. The others are a long way away from coming online. So for quite a while now, it's going to be Gen.G who have the economy advantage, both in terms of weaponry and ults. It's going to require something special for G2. But Gen.G do love a scrap. And if you end up getting caught by these stingers, G2 can be a very tough team. If they spot a weakness, they will swarm. And right now, eyes look set on either Garage or B. It's a bait and switch defense in Garage.
Texture lying in wait.
And Foxy9 there to bail him out.
Double scoped up. Could get overwhelmed. Swarmed. Prowler to connect. Has to really get the hell out of there. The corner was cleared here. Seeing the rotation immediately there from G2. They want to try and make moves. Munchkin is immediately there with a snake bomb. That's a smoke TP play. Valen, he's in. Straight into the fray, but he's alone at the case, and he's got to use a second TP just to get the hell out.
Yeah, they didn't like the look of that one. Didn't even break the alarm bot, actually, either. And now looking to try to go back into Garage. Foxy9 is very isolated here on C.
Want to clear forwards.
He's super confident here, Foxy. He's got the turret and himself playing contact.
It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially against those stingers. A bit of spam. G2 playing it patiently. They're waiting. 37 seconds, though. It leaves you with limited options, and already the rotations are abound. Gen.G reinforcing up the C site.
But no pressure over towards A at all.
Exploring for Foxy9. Will he catch the kill? Yes, he will. Jorgamo's done. Finished off here. G2 going to try and get a move on now. Bodies potentially falling. It's running and gunning from Valen. He's just trying to claim any sort of space. Munchkin dominating. Reign Supreme onto the site. You're getting a mad dash and a scurry, but Ash is going to be waiting for you. The time's not even barely there. It's knives out for Jonah. And no chance now for G2. 10-10 for Gen.G here. They are pulling this back.
Even score line with everything on the line for Gen.G. But I think there's a silver lining here for G2. And it's that Sova ult and Killjoy ult were both used in this round to stop an eco. You see here, the ult being fired out from Ash. Foxy9 also got rid of his. And so that ult economy advantage now negated.
New beginning here for round 21. Ash is too diligent there with breaking some of the util.
Tech's just getting a free walk down C because G2 are never breaking this Killjoy turret. And it sees down C long and into the Garage.
Taking full advantage of it. Just a wall to hold him back here. Drone timing. Saw it, I believe. Yeah, the corner towards bricks. Jonah P was spotted out there. Gen.G not going to be budging. Pressure towards Garage though. G2 look for something here, and it's a spike into the hands of these players. A lot of damage. Spam through the wall.
They still haven't broken the turret. They're still convinced that Foxy9's going to be fighting them aggressively somewhere, so they don't want to show. They used a huge amount of util just to get in.
Jonah P's aware of it. Look at him trying to jump spot, but it's an off angle by Texture.
It feels like Texture's the playmaker here.
Yeah, he's trying to play ahead of all of this one here, and he needs to get this kill onto Jonah P. Surely hearing the util now sailing up and overhead. Jonah P, he's finished. And here it is. Stun ricocheting back and forth. Reinforcements here. They've arrived in time. But does Texture even need it? Charon delivering death blow after death blow. G2, 20 seconds to work with here. They call for the pause and the hesitation here. There's discipline at work, G2. They spot it, the last remaining player, Ash, is left reeling, backing away. 15 seconds, and it's time enough to get the plant.
10 seconds left.
Deep position, and forward is Leaf. There was a chance there for Ash, but now down to just Texture. Spotting out the one. Was he expected? Damage done. Trent was low enough, and it's not planted.
It's a horrible plant.
Not planted for Leaf whatsoever.
Patience.
Patience. Leaf is not budging. He calls the bluff entirely. Another tap. Texture! With the movement, he still can't claim the kill. One more for good luck, but he needs to hunt down Leaf, and Leaf sees that it's not being stuck. He finds the timing again. Texture is being toyed with. Leaf has had it for breakfast.
What an unbelievably good clutch from Leaf. All with the brain. No need for the aim. Leaf knew that Texture was hunting those kills. There are certain players who are always going to be trying to fake and force a fight. And I think Leaf there just has an immaculate read. The fact he never even went for the first one. He just tucked towards B Cubby.
It's unreal game sense.
Enemy
Completely confident. He looks so stupid if he's wrong as well. And yet, at 10 to 10, he is willing to take that risk. G2, though, despite winning the round, are actually going to be taking an eco here to make sure that they have the economy to close this map out.
G2
that's mad.
With Stingers, it is a crazy prospect. They're looking to move over towards A. Again, Snakebite, Thorns up and over. Just to deny the chance of any sort of reinforcements. Texture's there with a stun though, layers it all down. Looking to slow them down. Neutral is used. Munchkin even with a pit here. Texture, he's got the operator to work with here. G2 flooding in! Fast and loose! It's risky business. Risky business sometimes pays off, but Gen.G finally getting bodies into the site. The defense intact. Jumping, peeking, trying to bait for one another. One left to stand, but Trent is toppled. 11 to 11. Gen.G, they're not done yet.
Huge rounds flying back and forth between these two titans. But G2 deliberately managed their economy in that previous round in order to invest in this one. Was it the right play? I think, listen, that's a tough one. That's a difficult argument. But the fact of the matter is that G2 went for a soft buy, allowing Gen.G in all likelihood to tie the game again so that they could win here. What is the game plan that Valorant cooks up?
Texture. Flashing your face in a peek, that is disgusting work!
He's so fast.
It's rapid.
Trent as well, down to 30 health. Did he get legged in the middle of that too? Or
Yeah, he was on top of the box. He did.
That's mad.
Damage through. G2 going to be limping through the rest of this round here, but Gen.G got to be smiles from how this has started. There's an explosion out now, out towards this B site. G2 want control of this one, but a Snakebite at the feet makes it pretty hot and heavy to try and handle. Precarious at that, still sticking the plant down and now playing off site. Dangerous prospect. Munchkin is still alive and he has that wall to deny them info. The G2 are still sticking two players onto the side. It's up to Valin, Jorgamo. Can they deliver any sort of kills inside the wall? There's a timing with the dart. It's a great tag. Jorgamo is gone to the dust and to the mud with him. Valin has to be that next player in, but perfectly baited once more. And there's that wall, smoked up, facing it up. Every single player from Gen.G putting up the challenge. They found that 12th round.
Map point here for Gen.G. Winning 5 out of the last 6. Forcing G2's economy down, getting huge value out of the operator.
There it is.
And skewering those G2 players at the start. That is such impact from Texture early. 22 kills, by the way. I feel like he had a bit of a slow beginning as well, even on this map. As soon as you get him on the defense side, though, especially with an op in his hands, he's a monster, he's a nightmare.
And one more is all it takes for Gen.G to extend this play and stand a chance of staying here in Toronto.
Their economy's just been so much better this entire half. G2 constantly messing around with Stingers, Guardians, Bulldogs, not a single player with a proper rifle. And Gen.G have got the right read, 3 players defending A.
So much trust in aim for Foxy9. 80 gets stopped. Was out in the open there, but G2 moving over towards A. It's a Nightfall to set them up. Snakebite's going to be used reactively. Prowler's going to be broken, and Ash is trying to play tight tuck to the corner. A bit of spam just catching Jorgamo into the leg. But he's able to get himself out of there. The weaponry, just a touch on even that. G2 are working with scraps here to try and bring this to OT. Gen.G more than in the driving seat. Taking a fight forwards, and there's that Stinger. Can't hold a candle, not against the rifle in the hands of Kieron.
And this looks scrambled from G2. They can't exactly figure out where they want to go. They're threatening like it could be a C split and looking for the B pop. All on Munchkin, no snakebite.
All in your face inside the smoke. He wants to dominate this angle nice and early. It's going to be dropping down, faced with multitude. It's evened out and traded out, but still that player advantage is there.
He left
Texture, legged it, damage done, but he's out to the side and he's looking all over the bloody place. He needs help and he needs a bailout. Foxy9 just can't wrangle it. Leaves it to Leaf though in a 1v2 and Gen.G. This is it, the impetus, the moment, the turning point. It's theirs, and well bloody earned.
The mental fortitude, the tenacity and grit from Gen.G.